Hello everybody. So today I want to focus on 3 companies in the Bitcoin space whose valuation have gotten entirely out of hand to the low side. And these companies are MicroStrategy, Marathon Holdings is a Bitcoin miner, and Semler. And this is totally nuts. There's no other way to say it. MicroStrategy is trading at 1.65x a Bitcoin NAV. Semler is trading at 1.5x Bitcoin NAV. That's a major drop for Semler. Semler used to trade around a 3 not too far ago. And Mara is trading only at a 14% premium to NAV. Again, this is unbelievable. I won't cover the other stocks today. I just want to focus on these, but the valuation is proper. By the way, if you ever use some of these websites to look at how many Bitcoin these companies have, be careful, they're not always updated. For example, Mara has 45,600 and not 40,000. So be careful when you use these websites. They're not always up to date. The point is, Bitcoin is trading at 97,776 today. The price of Bitcoin is down 2.5% right now. And if you look at MicroStrategy, Semler and Mara, MicroStrategy is down 7.5%. Semler, I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. Semler is down 8.6%, and Mara is down 8%. And so this is crazy because you have Bitcoin dropping 2.5%, and then you have Semler, Mara, MicroStrategy dropping, almost 4 times, not quite, but almost 4 times as much as Bitcoin. This tells me that the fear in the market, the fear in the traditional finance was much greater than the fear in the Bitcoin market. It's crazy to think that the Bitcoin has become more stable. These companies are now heavily undervalued in my view. And so let me get started first with MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy traded at the end of the day yesterday. It closed at $299. Again, big drop, $299. We haven't seen that in a long time. And usually when it gets under 300 for past 3 months, it hasn't lasted a long time. And this is despite the fact that they announced raising $2 billion at 0%. And in that last video I made 3 days ago, I said, oh, well, they're likely going to raise $2.3 billion. Well, I guess I was wrong because they raised $2.28 billion if initial purchasers fully exercise their option, but they will. So $2.28 billion is what they raised. What that means? What does that mean? First of all, that's not dilutive. That's debt. It means it's dilutive because they're likely going to convert, but it's dilutive 5 years from now in this case, right? So it's not dilutive today. So that's point number one. So people who are upset about the ATM saying, oh, he keeps tapping the ATM, you get to be upset about this one in 5 years, not today. The dilution is down the line. So that's point number one. Point number two, 2.28 billion USD. That's 23,800 Bitcoin, which means that for the market cap currently of 75.63, MicroStrategy main fact right now own 500,000 Bitcoin, a little more than that, 500,000 Bitcoin, because we know that Michael Saylor is very quick to buy. So is he buying today? Is he buying tomorrow? We don't know. Is he going to buy into Monday? Did he already buy? No idea. It's kind of Schrodinger's cat. We don't know until we get the announcement. But anyways, what would be the NAV if we assume he converts? We assume he already took all of the proceeds from the convertible and put it into Bitcoin. The price to NAV for MicroStrategy would be an unbelievable 1.57, and so this price is way too low. I'm increasing my position if it keeps dropping. This is pretty darn crazy to me that it came this low. And of course, this is a feeling that we have for a lot of stocks right now, not just the Bitcoin space. The market is crashing right now. It's not being rational. Moving on to Semler. So Semler trading at 1.5 in NAV. Once again, this is cheap. It used to be for a 3x. Semler is a company that I'm interested in. I like this company. I actually had covered this company a long time ago, way before they adopted their Bitcoin strategy for their product, because they were a fastly growing company and they were doing very well. And unfortunately, Medicare decided to kill them. Medicare decided, we're going to stop reimbursing for your product, and we're going to revert back to the 70-year-old technique that takes a medical assistant 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do, which is the ABI test. This is a test from 1949, I believe. The founder of Semler, that was a heart surgeon, and he spent his whole life developing this system, which is a little clip. You put your finger on top, and in a matter of 3 minutes, you can know if you have peripheral heart disease. And they claim to have in published studies, they claim to have much better efficiency at detecting early signs of disease, etc., etc. The product was a hit, and the stock hit all-time high on its own merit based on the product. The product was a hit, but the product was so successful at catching PAD too early that Medicare decided to end it and say, hey, there's a quote-unquote free technique that exists, which is the ABI technique. Why don't we revert back to the quote-unquote free technique, which is a miscalculation, because this is 3 minutes, this is 20 minutes for a trained person. So you got to take into account the salary of the person doing the work. So it's a miscalculation, but not from the standpoint of Medicare. They decided to stop reimbursing it. Semler is trying to find new use cases, new studies to try to get back on the list, but this is a classic ways that companies can die. And when they got there, Semler was like, by the way, I'm not so sure, but I'm pretty sure the current CEO is the son of the inventor of the company. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not so sure. But anyways, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But the point is, he was like, oh, no, I'm not letting the company die. And what do you do when you don't want your company to die? You buy Bitcoin. And he pivoted to Bitcoin. And so that's the story of Semler for you. It's a pivot to Bitcoin from a company with a slowly declining revenue. The revenue is declining at 10% a year. So you probably have another, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years of money to be made on the revenue, provided they don't kick this business again. Provided they don't kick it back up, you probably have like 5 to 6 years. Yeah, but one could believe they will bring it back, but even if they don't need to, because they now pivoted to the MicroStrategy strategy, which is they do ATMs, and they have 1.5 ATMs, so they might not be interested in doing the ATM right now, but when they had a 3x ATM, they did the ATM quite a bit, a 3x Bitcoin price to NAV, they did ATM quite a bit back then. They did convertible notes, convertible debt. It's a cheap company. It's only 460 million, so it's an inexpensive company. And key to understanding this company is if you understand the gamma trade, of course it's upside suffering, but these are small offerings, small convertible debt offerings, because they don't have a really good options market. And so Semler has been working really hard in order to prop up its options market and create an options market around Semler, so that if you have an options market, then your issuance of convertible debt is going to be much more successful, because you're going to attract gamma traders who want to bet on gamma, i.e. the change in volatility, and who don't want to bet on the direction of the stock. And so that's why I think it's a pretty interesting proposition. Let me move on. And of course, when they get the options market approved, who knows what's gonna happen? Well, they already have some of it, but when they get it more filled, right, more active, this is the term I'm looking for. Once they get the options market more active for Semler, this is when I expect their convertible debt offering to be much more successful, following, once again, the MicroStrategy playbook. And MicroStrategy and Eric Semler seem to be buddies. They tweet, they retweet each other, and so this is a clear application of a playbook. And the last company who followed the lead of Saylor and applies the playbook of Saylor is Mr. Thiel, the CEO of Mara. And Mara, I cannot believe. I just can't believe it. I don't even know. That's it. That's the end of my commentary. It's trading at a 14% premium, which is ridiculous. I suggest you go back. If you haven't seen this video from 2 months ago that I made on Mara, I suggest you go back. I go through the business. I go through the value of the miners at the time, right? The value of their locations, all of their value, how much money they make, their margins, and it's only trading at like 14% of $4 billion was it 4.8 or 5 billion? 14% of 5 billion is essentially the only value that the market is giving to all of the assets of this company. This is ridiculous. This is unheard of. Don't forget, this is a company that, with its assets, has still mined 750 bitcoins in January. Granted, The Bitcoins mined are declining because they're not adding new miners. They're done. They're happy with the miners they have. Their hash is pretty much what it is, and it is still the biggest hash out there. They were early in the game. What they're doing is they're mining their miners to death. Essentially, they're running their miners until exhaustion. And so that still makes money. If you own good energy contracts, which they do, but especially if you focus on sites like gas flare-ups. Gas flare-ups, you can get electricity prices at 1 cent. They bought renewable energy assets too to take advantage of peaks in wind. When you have miners that have lost a lot of value, you can keep them idle for a long time just to wait for that period in the week where it's going to be very, very profitable to run them. There's a lot of new strategies you can do with older miners, but the market entirely dismisses them for having fully old miners, but they've changed their strategy. To operate with old miners, and you also see, if you follow this company, they move the miners around depending on the location. They're very opportunistic, right? They move the miners around. It's not about finding the best miners and then plugging them in the location you have. It's having the miners you got and then finding the best location for these miners. This is the strategy that they have, trying to get it so cheap. And so, you know what? Even if they didn't have a mining business, even if the mining business didn't exist, that still wouldn't be too cheap. Because if you had the ATM and the convertible, you're still gonna be able to earn a yield, which in my view is gonna be well in excess of a 14% premium over NAV that one would be paying. I mean, this is getting entirely ridiculous, especially because we're still in the bull market. We still have amazing news over Bitcoin, surrounding Bitcoin. Frankly, if I looked at this price to NAVs, I don't know, a few months back, I would have thought this would be the price to NAVs we would see during the bear market, not during the bull market. We're about halfway through the Bitcoin bull market. Bitcoin is not done, or at least that's what I think. Bitcoin's not done, and so that's why I'm very happy to be accumulating in the space of Bitcoin right now, and I find these stocks very, very, very cheap. So anyways, this was not financial advice. This is not investment advice. I'm so sorry for my voice. I'm sick. I don't know if I'll be able to make a video tomorrow. Anyways, sorry for my voice, but no financial advice, no investment advice, just entertainment. Please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.